Hi, I'm Lisa Perini, and we're here at the Perini Ranch Steakhouse in Buffalo Gap, Texas. And as always, we're pouring great Texas wines today. Tom and I always have Texas wines on the menu here at the steakhouse. We are proud of the industry. We're excited to pour the wines, and we love seeing how it's changed and developed over the years. So many friends and so many great winemakers. It's a great industry in Texas. Come join us for dinner.
So the 2019 Mourvedre from the Gilmore Brothers Vineyard in Levelland, Texas, aged 11 months in French oak. And it's medium bodied, and I think it's going to pair really nicely with prime rib.
This is our first ever release of Petite Syrah from French Connection. 2019 is our first year making Petite Syrah. We've used it a little bit as a blender here and there as trials, but it's a really interesting variety. It does well in Texas. It doesn't like our winters very much, but if you can get it to stay alive during the winters, it makes beautiful wines. Very dark, very big, but quite a bit of elegance to the tannin. So really nice wine for this kind of prime rib.
Today I'm pouring for this beautiful group of Texas winemakers the 2018 Saint Trifon Cabernet Sauvignon and Tannat. It's 75% Cabernet Sauvignon and 25% Tannat. 2018 was our first year of working with Cabernet. I found that it's very, very elegant, very Margaux-esque in the Texas High Plains. So, in Texas, we think of all things as bigger and better, but our Cabernets really tend to be more fine and pretty and high-toned than big and chunky. And then a little bit of Tannat, 25%, really gives it some backbone. Cheers to the holidays.
I brought our Blanc Dubois, Madeira. Blanc Dubois is a hybrid grape variety that we grow down in the Gulf Coast region, thrives in the humidity and the heat. And if you're familiar with fortified wines or dessert wines in Texas, then you probably heard of this. You can't really talk about it without mentioning Hack. This is actually a new bottling. Pretty proud of this. This has spent about 6 months in our stufa at about 115 degrees. I don't want to give away too many trade secrets, but this was a wine that we inherited. Raymond Hack's been doing this since 2002, and it's one of those things. It's not broke, so you don't need to fix it. So we've stuck to kind of a recipe on this. Most of our wines really aren't recipe style wines. It's just kind of you roll with the vintage, roll with the punches. But this one sticks to a pretty strict protocol. So happy to share this with everybody. And Schlante.
By magic, this appeared, for I did not bring one. But this is the famous Tricolore, which we have been making for 20-something years. The three colors, it's Cinsault, Carignan, and a little bit of Viognier. It has no oak. It's all free run. This is the closest thing that I think we have to a Pinot Noir, but it's all Rhone varieties. So we bottle this fresh in January or February after the first vintage. So it could be like a Beaujolais, but not really, but similar but different. And I hope you enjoy this. Nobody's drinking it except me. Pass it on down.
I'm Presley Whitehead Davies. I'm operations manager at Blue Ostrich Winery and Vineyard.
And I am Grayson Davies, and I am the winemaker at RK in St. Joe, Texas. And our
We're
wineries, yeah, we are married, and our wineries are just about 3.5 miles as a crow flies.
Yeah.
And that's how we met, is through the wineries. We're both family-owned and operated businesses, and the families did a wine festival together, and we met about 10 years ago, and now we're creating a family of our own, and we're both intricately involved with our own family businesses.
So this season, Blue Ostrich took in about 50 tons. That's between our estate vineyard and then fruit that came off of the high plains. The quality of fruit was definitely there. Our growers worked really hard for us, absolutely. It's been a tough season though. After the freeze in February, there was definitely significant fruit loss. As far as Blue Ostrich vineyards goes, we were down about 80%. So that was very difficult, but we're coming back. We have plans for the next year. We'll be replanting. So a lot of work is ahead of us, but definitely excited about the fruit we got in this year.
So that's one of the difficulties growing grapes in Texas, is just the fact that when you have a winter like we had, where at RK it got down to minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit, there was going to be a loss of fruit. But one of the nice things about growing grapes in Texas, and Texas as a whole, the industry is quite large. There's a lot of growers that we could rely on in the Texas High Plains that allowed both Blue Ostrich and RK to supplement a lot of the fruit that we lost at the estate level. And overall quality is good. And 2021 is going to be one of those vintages that the wine growers are going to look at, remembering the crazy winter we had, but then the great fruit we were able to get. And the great thing about growing grapes is that next year is always exciting.
Yeah. What am I thankful for this year? After 2020, I'm definitely thankful to be around people and see some fresh faces and some industry friends that we haven't seen in a long time. So definitely to gather, I guess, would be what I'm thankful for.
You know, there's something family, I guess, in the sense that not only our own family, but the fact that the Texas wine industry is a very close-knit industry and close-knit family. As you can see, we were able to bring together wine growers, winemakers, grape growers together to have this lovely dinner, to share each other's wines. And that's the great thing about our industry, is that regardless of where we are, location-wise in the state, we can come together, share a bottle of wine. And that's the great thing about wine, is that it brings you closer together. It's like we're all family.
We had a interesting vintage. We took a really big hailstorm in early May, right at the beginning of the active part of the growing season. So we lost a lot of fruit. We lost about 60% of our fruit that we had under contract at the time. And that kind of opened up the doors for us to go and try some new things. And just the High Plains took big storm, but there was other areas of the state that did not get hit by those same storms. And so we decided to try some new things and new areas to us altogether. So we took a sizable amount of our season in Del City, right on the western edge of Texas, just a couple hours away from El Paso. And we took a little bit of every variety that they had in that vineyard. And we really, really enjoyed working out there. It's a high elevation vineyard. And all the wines panned out, so really, like, although Mother Nature was nice to us, it ended up making really, really great wines and gave us the space to try some new things. We found the oldest vines of Mourvèdre in Texas from 1976 out there, and that made fantastic wine, so I'm really excited about that for sure.
As hard as the season been, and harvest is always hard, so grateful we had incredible team in place. This year we had new team in the cellar, new people in the tasting room, and I know it's been incredibly hard for him, but he would come home in a good mood every day. He said, "You won't believe how everyone's working great together, and we're joking and helping each other, and it makes such a huge difference and takes stress off of him, off of me, and overall, like, things were running so much smoother than we've ever had it before." And in the same being in the tasting room as well.
So for next season, we're looking at a lot of new planting. So we've cleared a lot of sites this year to prepare for next year planting. So we're planting more Syrah, more Petite Syrah. We're planting more Picpoul Blanc for French Connection. We have a new site that's coming in production for Calais. That's Cabernet Sauvignon. So we planted a really cool clone of Cab 3 years ago, or like 2.5 years ago. It's going to be its third season this coming spring. So we have a lot of new projects that are going in, from new plantings to things that are going to produce fruit for the first time we've been babying for the past 3 years.
Yeah, what I'm looking forward to on the business side in the tasting room is that we're at this point finally where we don't have to rush to put wine in the bottle, and we're finally able to have quite a bit new red wines that we can offer our guests. We have fantastic lineup, even more red wines coming out that we're really excited about. We've been known before just for our whites and rosés, and this upcoming year it's going to be kind of different, and really looking forward to it.
I'm thankful for a great harvest. You didn't start under the best auspices, but it turned out awesome. So now we have like some really tough decisions to make, because we can't have all the stuff that we had on the book for last year plus all the stuff that we took in the middle of the season this year. And since everything made really great wine, we're gonna have some tough decisions to make, but it's a really good problem to just have too much great fruit.
Yeah, well, I'm really thankful we finally were able to get married this year. After delaying it for over a year, we finally went ahead and did it. And even though we're not able to have family close by, it was a very special thing for us. And we're grateful for actually being able to open and operate and welcome guests the whole year, and hoping it's going to continue the same for the next year. Yeah.
First full year of being open.
Exactly right. Yeah.
It's a very, very good sign for the ski season that's up to come. It's a La Nina. We're gonna have to go north, or we're gonna have to go west. But we'll look to California, Utah, Montana, and I think the first ski trip is gonna be to Banff in Canada. So it's coming. It's coming. She's not coming.
2021 was a very, very beautiful year in Texas wine. Also a very challenging year on the heels of 2020, which was also a very challenging year. Both 2020 and 2021, I anticipate concentration, beautiful tannins, lots of profound, rich fruit. It was a great year at Saint Trifon. We began working with some new varietals, notably Grenache and Counois. We're anticipating just getting these wines into bottle in a few years, and super excited about what the future holds. 2022, which it's hard to believe it's almost here. 2021 just disappeared in a beautiful flash of love. God willing, the vintage will be slightly more favorable than God has sent us in 2020 and 21, but I anticipate it'll be very beautiful.
We just literally were writing out our goals. We're gonna do wine club member dinners, and then you'll get to enjoy private tastings on the porch with Syl.
A lot of new wines, a lot of new projects we've been working on for a few years that we've been really honing, that I think are going to be ready for the marketplace in 2022 and then moving into 2023 as well. What am I thankful for this year? It's been a very, very interesting 2020 and 2021, both at Saint Trifon and in my personal life. And without a doubt, the thing for which I am the most grateful is in April of this year, I met the love of my life, Andrea Brissett, who happens to be here with me.
And of course, me too. April 2021 of this year was absolutely life-changing. And you know, I'm from Texas, and I've lived far away from Texas for a long time, and my heart was drawn and pulled back to the hill country for a multitude of reasons, but now I know the main reason. This man right here.
How was your grape growing season?
Our grape growing season was pretty phenomenal. I think the fruit was incredible, great sugars. Everybody said there wasn't going to be a lot of it, but there was enough for all. We had plenty of fruit. So, how was yours?
That's funny how that works because, we buy a lot of Blanc Dubois down in the Gulf Coast area, and we're used to getting 40 tons, and we got about 12. A lot of it was because of that cold spell in February.
The big freeze.
The big freeze. And even, it's always hit and miss in the high plains too, because if it's not hail or if it's not a late freeze, which we ended up getting a little bit of both in a sense. And so we end up having to kind of, during the growing season, recontracting some fruit so that we can even get fruit.
The big freeze didn't really hurt us. The hail hurt us. Hail hurt some vineyards.
Yeah.
But then like Katie Jane, she didn't get any hail because she has a halo.
That's how it works.
So I don't know. But I think we had a very, very good year. I'm very pleased with the fruit and the quality.
Yeah, no, the fruit that we got was premium for sure.
We're starting a new program that my daughter, the advanced sommelier, has gotten us on about a block series. We take red grapes. We only do 10 barrels of each, and we do stuff in the vineyard, and it's all it's beautiful stuff. We have 6 wines coming out in the block series this year, 6 more next year, but we won't have Mourvèdre or Carignan because in 2020 there was very little of that. So we have an Alicante Boucher and a Dolcetto, the little sweet one.
I'm excited about, so we had a partnership with Carr Taylor, who's got Roland Taylor Vineyards. He just planted that a couple of years back in Brownfield. It's about 8 miles south of VJ Reddy's vineyard, who we've contracted with since the beginning of Hack. And he got held out this year. We only got about 4 tons out of 35. So we're looking forward to a normal year, if that even happens in Texas. If you don't know, I came up under Kim. Kim is I'm the Padawan. He's the Jedi master in Texas. And I came up under him. So I feel like I owe all of my success and all of my everything to this man.
You were a good learner, and you're one of our proudest guys that came through. And so I've got one now. I don't know yet. We may have to put a bullet in him. I don't know yet. He's young. Okay?
Not everybody's a champion.
That's right. I am thankful for. I got vaccinated and got a booster, and I didn't get COVID, and all of my family. You lose your taste and smell in this business. You might survive COVID, but then you suck, so you can't do that.
100%. I'm thankful for my family, my wife, my girls. I would be dead in a ditch without them, and probably without you. No. And really just for the team that I have at Hack.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
For me to be able to break away and do, something like this, I have full faith and confidence in the team that I leave back at the winery to be able to execute the day-to-day responsibilities. We have a high demand, and if we lose a day, then, you get behind.
So you don't know this guy, graduate of SMU, big real estate, made a ton of money. He gave up the good life, for an old housewife like me type thing. You know what I'm saying? He gave that all up to be a winemaker, and I think that's very admirable. He could be making a ton more money, but he wouldn't be happy. And he's all happy now. Are you happy?
Pretty happy now.
Okay.
I'm
pretty happy now.
I was in a cubicle and I got real fat.
That's not good.
No, I had to break away.
He broke away.
Nicole, how did your season go?
I would say it was a little challenging with the rain. A lot of people always ask about how the frost went back at, I shouldn't say frost, but the freeze back in February. But we made it through that with all the the rain actually acted as an insulator when it froze on the vines. So our big issue was the rain. So our crop was lower. It was a lighter yield. But our winemaker is really excited that the quality that we got is great. So we're excited about that.
That's exciting. People are aware that Becker buys, I think they're more aware now than what they used to be, right? That Becker buys the most fruit.
That's right.
From the
That's
most
right.
growers in the state of Texas. But I don't know that everybody knows how many acres are there at the estate and how big the back vineyard is. Because I know that the Merlot, when John got there, the fruit that comes off the back vineyard, he started really championing that.
Things that I'm thankful for this year would include good health, being able to spend time with family. My family lives close by. And then a great team to work with at the winery. We've got a great group of people. Sometimes you see them on the front lines, and then there's also a lot of unsung heroes in the back as well. Great growers to work with. But then also our guests, you know, the people that champion Texas wines and really come to visit us, especially in a challenging time, challenging year, and then also recommend us and Texas wines to their friends and families as well.
You guys, as a winery, have completed more virtual tastings and went into more people's home and shipped more Texas wines all over the nation to keep that momentum up through COVID, post-COVID. Like, what week are you on? You're on, do you know at this point?
I can't remember if we're on 86, week 86, I think.
You are approaching 100 weeks in a row. Yes. I am thankful this year. I mean, this whole supper and today was about gathering a bunch of industry people in a moment of thanks. There's been a lot of loss this year. And like you said, the front lines of people who maybe aren't always seen, the unsung heroes. So for those who are still standing and on the days that everybody's maybe not the strongest, I'm thankful for all those who rally around. It's been a year. It's been a couple years back to back, I would say.
There are people that don't realize that in the wine industry, how hard it is. And so here we are enjoying, you know, great glasses of wine. This is the easier part of our jobs. But starting from growing grapes in the vineyards and still having, when you've planted it and waiting 3 years before you can produce fruit, there's so many hands that touch the bottle. There's just so much work involved that a lot of people don't realize. And but I would say that's probably one of the things that people don't realize about the wine industry is there is a harder side to it. But we all have a passion for it, and so we're excited to be able to bring this forth to you, be able to try the wines.
I would say cheers to that.
Cheers.